everybody, Trevor here, and welcome to another Top 5 video. Remember my Top 10 movies I like but everyone else hates video I did a long time ago? Well, believe it or not, there are more than 10 that I happen to like, and that's why I'm making a sequel to it by making a Top 5 more movies I like but everyone else hates. Another reason why I'm doing this is because there are a couple nostalgic movies I regret not including in the first place. Also, 2023 was a pretty crazy year for theatrical films in general, because many of them haven't been doing well at the box office. So I will add a couple of them here. So without further ado, let's begin, shall we? Coming at number 5 is Quest for Camelot. I originally put this as an honorable mention from the previous installment because nowadays, I can see its major flaws. For example, there were parts of the story that weren't really explained very well, like Ruber's motivation to overthrow King Arthur. I mean, if the Knights of the Round Table knew about his intentions, then why did they hire him in the first place? Is it because Warner Brothers wanted a subtle reference to Judas Iscariot from the Easter story? Also, why did Ruber want more land? Why did he want to overthrow King Arthur? Is it because he's jealous of him, or that he never got the chance to pull the sword from the stone? It's never really explained to us. Another flaw with this movie is the character design of Kaylee, who seems to have a striking resemblance to Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, I wonder why Disney hadn't sued them for this yet. But aside from the movie's major flaws and somewhat plagiarism, I still enjoy the movie for what it is, for the most part. Don't get me wrong, I can understand why some people hate this movie, but at the very least, it kept me entertained with its wonderful soundtrack, beautifully fluid animation, and great casting choices, especially Don Rickles as Cornwall and Eric Idle as Devon the Two-Headed Dragon. But my most favorite bit of all would be Gary Oldman's performance as Ruber, even though I wished his motivations were explained to begin with, but still, he's quite entertaining, especially with his eye-twitching moments here and there, which makes him quite sadistic. So overall, Quest for Camelot is a guilty pleasure of mine. I could even say it's one of my favorite Warner Brothers films along with The Iron Giant, Cats Don't Dance, and even the Looney Tunes movies in general. Hence why I'm giving this movie a 7.5 out of 10 stars. It's good, but could have been a lot better. Number 4 is Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken. I don't know about you, but I honestly thought this movie was overall great. First off, I thought Ruby Gillman looked pretty cute and adorable. Secondly, I thought it was quite funny that the main villain, Chelsea, real name Narissa, was a parody of Ariel from The Little Mermaid. Yep, that's classic DreamWorks for ya. And thirdly, I enjoyed Grandmama and Agatha Gilman as supporting characters. Especially the part where they and Ruby work together to defeat Queen Narissa and destroy the Triton once and for all, which makes it one of the best final battles in DreamWorks history. I mean, better than how Disney handled the live action remake of The Little Mermaid. Don't get me started on that! In addition, I enjoy the overall plot because it just shows that Krakens can also be good characters rather than bloodthirsty ones. Not to mention that mermaids can be bad guys too. I mean, it's not like it's the first time that's happened in history of animation. However, my only gripe with this movie is the human designs for most of the characters, especially the love interest Connor, because they look very uncanny compared to the previous ones like those from Boss Baby and Monsters vs. Aliens. I mean, they're almost as ugly as the Shark Tale character designs. But other than that, this movie is overhated and deserves a 9 out of 10 from me. But I want to know what you guys think of it after the video is over. Number 3. Hercules and Zena, the animated movie. The Battle for Mount Olympus. This is the direct-to-video animated version of two of the live-action shows about them, but more aimed at kids. It is about Hercules, Zena, and their friends working together to save Mount Olympus and Zeus from the evil clutches of the Titans, who were released from prison by the goddess Hera. The Titans plan to overthrow the gods and take the Chronos Stone for themselves so that they can destroy the Earth. I know some people say that this movie isn't that great, even on IMDb, but I highly disagree with that because, in my opinion, it's one of those movies that's so bad it's actually good. Firstly, I don't mind the animation style they use because it's kind of a combination of action hero cartoons in general in terms of the action, as well as Ren and Stimpy in terms of the funny facial expressions. Seriously, how can you not laugh at this? I also enjoy the songs themselves. My favorite one is We're the Titans, sung by the four Titans themselves, because it's hilariously bad in plenty of ways. For instance, where did they get some of that modern human technology during the musical number? Oh, and I especially love the bit where they sing boom shaka laka laka boom shaka laka laka boom boom because it's quite catchy. Too bad Hera had to ruin the fun by telling everyone to be quiet at the end. So, in conclusion, Hercules and Xena, the animated movie, is a pretty fun, awesome, and hilarious cartoon. Sure, it does have cheesy and corny moments here and there, but the songs and action make up for it in my eyes. And if you're fascinated with Greek mythology in general, then I would probably recommend this movie to you and your friends just to get a good laugh. Number 2, Disney's Wish. I've made a community post about this after I saw it in the theaters last year, and I give it a 7 out of 10 stars because while it is an overall good movie, but it could have been better if the story had some rewrites here and there. For example, King Magnifico, while a great villain, but could have had a better motivation to be evil in the first place. I mean, I get he wanted more power, but you can't have a villain just for the sake of being evil. You need to have a better reason. Why can't he let Sabino's wish come true in the first place? I don't really see how it would be a bad thing for the Kingdom of Rosas. I mean, there's nothing wrong about Sabino being a great musician. Man, this is Pixar's Coco all over again, except that movie had much better writing, pacing, and execution. Another thing I thought could have made the movie a lot better was making the star a human boy and be Asha's love interest. You see, many die-hard fans like myself always love seeing romantic couples in the Disney universe, whether in movies or shows. But unfortunately, the Starboy was replaced by this design just so they could sell it as a toy to kids. Jar Jar Binks, anyone? But aside from the nitpicks and missed opportunities, I still enjoy this movie for the most part. The 3D and 2D animation combo are pretty good, but not as fluid as the Spider-Verse movies. I didn't mind the Easter eggs throughout the movie, like some of Asha's friends referencing the Seven Dwarfs from Snow White, but the best part of the movie are the songs, including At All Costs, This Wish, and This Is the Thanks I Get, because I thought they were quite catchy and fun to listen to. So overall, I enjoyed Disney's Wish, but at the same time, I wished that this movie hadn't cut out any interesting concept ideas like the Starboy as well as the King and Queen being an evil couple because those would have made the movie even better than before. But still, I give this movie a 7 out of 10 stars, and I still think it was a fine way to celebrate Disney's 100th anniversary. While it may not be as boring as Strange World or mean spirited like Chicken Little, but it's still a passable movie nonetheless. Before I get to my number one pick, I just want to give a couple honorable mentions. Ralph Breaks the Internet. It's alright, but not as good as the first one. Wonka. It was going to be number 2 on here, but after doing some more research, a lot of people really love this movie. Another reason it's an honorable mention is because I thought it was a decent retelling of the Willy Wonka origin story. I didn't mind the diverse cast, as well as some references to the original 1971 Willy Wonka movie. So yeah, that's why this video was delayed until February. And the number 1 spot goes to Pixar's Lightyear. Yes, I know some people don't like this retelling of Lightyear because it's woke and completely different from the original TV series, and I can quite understand that, but in all honesty, I didn't mind it in the least. Let me explain why. Like Wonka, as an honorable mention, this is another rewritten origin story with a diverse cast. In this story, Buzz tries to find a way to get back through space and time with crystallic fusion energy, but every time he fails and comes back, he sees his life flash before his eyes, leading him to the future without aging. Yeah, confusing story, I know, but don't worry, it gets better. Along the way, he makes new friends with a robot cat named Socks, who is the best part of this movie because he's basically a combination of XR from the original TV cartoon, C-3PO, and R2-D2 from Star Wars. I love Socks because he's cute and funny. Thank God he's not a twist villain because then the movie would suck even more. Speaking of twist villains, if there's one thing I don't like about this movie, It would be the twist where Zurg was really Buzz's future self, because I was pretty much expecting the cliche Darth Vader twist where he turns out to be his father. But no, this is what we get. And in the end, after Buzz finally defeats Zurg and saves the planet, he decided to accept his new life on Tikani Prime and spends the rest of his new life with his new future friends, including Izzy Hawthorne, who was the daughter of Alicia Hawthorne. I've said this before and I'll say it again. While I do prefer the Buzz Lightyear Star Command TV show from Toon Disney in terms of nostalgia and consistency, but personally, I don't mind this retelling of Buzz Lightyear's origin story because I thought it was quite refreshing with interesting new characters, awesome action, great CGI animation by Pixar as usual, and a pretty good storyline. And like Wonka, I highly recommend this movie since I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 stars as well. Now let me know in the comment section below on which of these movies are your favorite. Do you agree with my list, or do you have your own personal preference? I also would like to know what other movies you guys like but everyone else hates, because I'm very interested in your thoughts. And yes, I'm feeling a lot better now. Thank you for all the support. It really helps me a lot. Join me next time where I'll be fulfilling this user's request for his birthday. This is Trevor Davis, signing off.